Hi, this is Tatiana Dyachenko, and this video is about how and why a psychopath in a romantic relationship isolate you from your circle of support. And this is continuing from a story about Tim and his ex-girlfriend, psychopath Ella. From the beginning of the relationship, Ella criticized Tim's children. He has 4 adult kids from his first marriage, and she told him, "You are such a good father. You deserve better treatment. They're taking advantage of you." And it was stroking his ego because he felt like he devalued in his family, but it ruined his relationship with his children. And Tim says, within weeks of moving in the house, she started her final push to isolate me from my kids, and was very successful, with eventually none of my children being willing to talk or visit me. But she was very close with her daughter, and this is common for psychopaths, to have double standards. She was visiting her daughter at his account. He gave her a ride 100 miles to airport and back and paid for this trip. And she didn't want him to see his children. What did she do to isolate him? She criticized his kids and refused to invite them to visit. She gave Tim cold treatment when he was going to meet them or he was talking to them on the phone, and she gave him warm treatment and approved him when he refused to see his children or said something negative, criticized them. So this is operant conditioning in action. Reinforcement for negative behavior towards his children and punishment for positive behavior towards his children. This is how she gradually shaped his behavior to push his kids away. Also, she created his negative attitude toward his kids by comparing them and her daughter, which was perfect. She basically wanted to substitute his children with her daughter. Look at her, she is perfect. This is the only decent child you want to take care of. And why psychopaths want to isolate you from other people? To have complete control of your mind and over your resources, money, property. They don't need competitors or risk losing the influence or control over you. They don't need it. And why did Tim allow her to do this? This is the next question. Because of trauma bonds between an abuser and the victim. These bonds, emotional connection is really strong, and an abuser is seen to be as most significant person. It's like an addiction. Nothing is more important in the whole world but the abuser. Your hierarchy of values is gradually changing its order. What was first becomes the last, what was last becomes the first. And the same happens with any addiction, drug addiction, alcohol addiction. The drug becomes #1 priority, and everything else is not important anymore. As a result, you are losing the most valuable things, your family. The same in this abusive relationship. Family becomes the last. And Tim was also isolated from his friends. After only 1 year of living together, his friends no longer come to his house. And this is an indicator of abusive relationship. You feel isolated. You don't meet people. You even don't want to meet people. It looks like you don't need them anymore, except your toxic partner. You need this partner the most. And Tim says, she asserted her rights of my property, banning my son coming to the property, and I felt frightened living in my own home. And she is back to dating sites. So she didn't isolate herself from other people. Quite opposite. She is dating with new people. Double standards again. After a couple of years, Tim says, I'm sick of this repeatedly seeing her on dating sites. So I started to making screenshots of her many pages of her illicit and deceitful activities, as she by now spends every waking hour online. This is a good idea to take this screenshot. You need this evidence. And if you are in toxic relationship, don't let them control your social interaction. It's very important to have supportive network, to break away later from the perpetrator, and to keep your sanity. Don't be silent. Talk to people you trust, your family, your friend, about your problems and relationship. Silence and isolation is the goal of a perpetrator. To get all your resources and ruin your life. Don't let them do this. If you like this video, click like, subscribe my channel. See you next time. It was Tatiana Dyachenko.